Hello.
Hello.
Hello. And
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Alien Prison Food, a talkie radiogram.
Talkie.
A monthly podcast with a weekly format.
We're not necessarily going to have to do monthly. We could do daily.
I don't want to do this every month either.
Well, let's see how it goes, because we might hate each other after this.
Yeah,
forever.
Should we talk a little bit about why it's called Alien Prison Food?
Well, this is your concept, so you can talk at length about alien prison food.
I realised it comes from two places, and I don't know which was first. Both of them are like sci-fi television that I saw as a kid. I think one of them created the idea in my head of alien prison food, and then the other one made it what it was. So the first one was an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, where Picard is literally in an alien prison.
He's literally in an alien prison.
He's literally in an alien prison.
Good.
And they drop down some food. He doesn't know why he's there. He's been trapped there. There's a crazy looking alien, which I think is why it's stuck in my head.
What did the alien look like?
He looked a lot like an orc from Lord of the Rings. He was huge, and like TNG was really frightening sometimes.
I only remember the only episodes I remember are the ones with Q. This is a complete divergence.
Yeah.
The ones with Q. And the episode where everyone started having sex. And that was very important to me in my formative years.
Do you remember the one with the video game that gave you an orgasm when you completed a level?
No, but why does that not exist?
That was an amazing episode of TNG. Anyway, so Picard's in this alien prison with this orc thing and other characters, and they drop down a chute, food for him, and it's like a red ruby hexagon that looks like plastic Turkish delight with no sort of powder on, and he can't eat it. It's almost impossible to eat. And I was like, wow, alien prison food. And I think it made me want Turkish delight. And so then Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the original TV series, just after the Earth is destroyed and they get beamed onto the Vogon construction ship, they're walking about, and he finds food that the Dentrassi have cooked for the Vogons, and he's like, oh, this is like a huge delicacy, and he tries it, and he's like, oh, the Dentrassi must really hate the Vogons. But it's loaves of bread that they've dyed blue with with mushy peas on, and that just, I was like, wow, because I could tell it was mushy peas and a loaf of bread, and it just set something in my mind about looking at Earth food and imagining that it's alien prison food. And you remember at uni we talk about things an alien prison food factor.
Yeah. It's worth saying that we've known each other for like
a very long
10
time.
years, and we talk about this every time we meet. So
yeah.
We thought we'd inflict this on everyone else.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, so formally, I am John, and I am on alien prison food now.
Yes, and I am Rob, and I'm here and I can talk about alien prison food and other things. We've got a range of exciting subjects we're going to talk about.
We've organised this into a format. We were talking about what the driving force is, and we realised that it's just to whinge, existential anxiety and the world.
Yeah.
Also,
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you.
No, go on.
I need to expel this. I'm doing this because I have nothing else to do with my life, and I need to have a creative outlet that isn't taking a dump every day.
I like that. That's a creative outlet.
It is quite creative.
It's very.
But let's not go too far into that because that's dark.
Also introducing producer Kayla, who's is the Google machine. And other things.
Should we be doing our bidding, finding out the things when we don't know what the hell we're talking about?
Yes.
She knows the truth of everything.
Yes. So, welcome to Alien Prison Food Podcast. Let's crack on with news of the week. News.
I must say, this is the first time I'm hearing any of these jingles because these guys have been holed up in a cave making crazy shit for probably about 4 months on this one. Or maybe an afternoon.
Easily
I'm not sure.
4 months' work.
Yeah.
As you hear the jingles, I'm sure you'll hear the quality.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to hear what we have in store. So news
of the week.
What do you have news? What's been going on? What's been going down?
There's a new Godspeed You Black Emperor album.
Oh yeah. What is the ridiculously pretentious title?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. I didn't write it down. What's the title of the new Godspeed album? Here's what I wanted to say about it. I've read several press releases and several websites have reported it. It's not, and this is good Godspeed. It's not clear if it's an album or an EP.
Okay.
Because it's 40 minutes long, but it's 4 tracks. But it's previously one song, so they've been playing it. They've been playing it live. It's a 40-minute song basically they've released. Now, is that an album or an EP? Because some people are saying the new Godspeed album's out at the end of March. Some people are saying the new Godspeed EP is out at the end of March.
Well, I've got a third thing for you, which is in the world of internet distribution, is that not what makes that not a mixtape if it's just one long track?
I thought a mixtape by design had
A mix of
other
tapes?
people's music in.
Really?
So it's basically okay to. It's like a hip hop R&B thing, isn't it? Mixtapes. It's okay to sample.
That's the thing. I've for years I've been hearing about. Oh yeah, man, Nicki Minaj, she got a new mixtape out, and I don't know what that means.
It means that it's not an album, but it's an album's worth of material. It's like a lazy album.
Yeah,
I think.
Is that not just what too many DJs did, and everyone's just doing that?
Yeah, but they put their own rap or vocals on it. Or...
I should do that.
Goodness me, saying that in this format makes you realise how white and middle class.
I know. I realise I
don't
know anything about anything that isn't incredibly, very small, tunnel vision.
Have we found the title?
Asunder, Sweet and Other Distress.
Asunder, Sweet and Other Distress. Have we got the track listing there?
Yeah, the track titles. It's worth saying, just while Kayla's looking this up, that if you don't know Godspeed, they are a Canadian collective who hate everything and everyone, and they've had 5 albums in the last 20 years, and
this might be their 5th album, or it might be their 2nd EP.
Yeah, and they specialize in 20-minute long sonic experiments of post rock and noise and orchestral shit, and sound bites of old men talking about nothing for a while.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. I love it.
They are easily, a lot of their releases are easily in my top 5 albums of all time.
Oh yeah, Slow Rock for Zero Canada is my favourite ever EP.
Yeah,
whatever that means.
Skinny Fists is even potentially my number 1 album of all time.
Really?
I know, and I hate deciding that stuff because it changes all the time. Tubby has joined us. Rob's cat Tubby has joined us. If you hear any meowing,
that's him.
That's that'll be the cat in the room.
I've got the track listing here.
Okay, we've got the track listing.
Number 1, Peasantry or Light, Inside of Light, which have exclamation marks at the end, and single quotation marks around Light, Inside of Light.
So Peasantry. So track 1 of the new Godspeed EP album is called Peasantry Inside of Light.
Peasantry or Light, Inside of Light.
Peasantry or light inside of light. So the placement of exclamation marks is something Godspeed specialise in.
Bewildering.
Yeah. If you don't know, they used to have an exclamation mark at the end of their band name, Godspeed You Black Emperor, and then very cryptically they moved the exclamation mark so it was Godspeed You Black Emperor.
Is it not Godspeed? Godspeed You!
Oh, is it Godspeed You? So they
so.
moved it, and the internet for a small time went mental about the movement of an exclamation mark.
It's important.
It is important.
It is important.
I'm really excited about it. I bloody love them, and I'm excited about hearing a 40-minute track from them.
Yes, I'm also excited about things. I've realised as I'm getting older that I have less and less patience for short things. I like long, rambling things that go on for about 40 minutes that I can kind of lose myself in. And it just makes the time pass faster. Like I say, I'm really bored.
If you're not creatively outletting.
I'm really bored. I just want to listen to the longest things possible to get lost in them so I can waste away my fragile little life.
Do you know, as I get older, I have a lot more patience for very drone. I bloody love drone music now. I mean, I've liked it for a few years, but I love being able to listen to something, like you said, for an hour, and it's like a...
As long as there's something happening. So I always come back to Metal Machine music, which is, if you don't know it, an awful, awful, hateful, miserable, awful, hatred, vomit-inducingly bad album by Lou Reed. He did it in the 70s at some point. I'm going to say 77 and have a guess at that.
Okay.
But he essentially made a hour-long album, 4 tracks of just white noise. And there's not white noise in it. Oh, listen to all the interesting textures in there. White noise is in... like just that little bit.
Yeah.
Imagine that for an hour.
Because it was purposefully a bit obtuse, wasn't it, as a
Yeah, I
release?
know,
Like, he
I
knew
know.
what he was doing. I think there are some people that would release Drone because they're genuinely interested in,
Yeah.
you know, but he wanted to piss off his label, right?
I think so. Either that's the story or I've made that story up. I'm not sure.
I think
1975.
1975?
1975.
Records, but he's continued to have a relationship releases with them afterwards. So
See, I remember hearing it was like to fulfill contractual.
I'm pretty sure that was me that
Obligation.
said that, and I don't know where I got that from. Probably Q magazine, because it was around. I only heard about it because I used to read that magazine constantly before I've stopped reading that magazine for no reason.
Good.
Q magazine,
Q magazine.
sponsor us.
You got no, because I don't want free Q magazine. I
Why
I
not?
want free, like something that you can eat, babe. I want free food.
free food. Yeah.
naked natural bars. Just mentioning those for no reason. One of your 5 a day, totally natural ingredients.
I was
lovely.
thinking that I do all my best thinking in the shower. We are so off topic; it's ridiculous. I do all my best thinking in the shower, which I'll come back to thinking in the shower a little bit later.
Okay.
And I was thinking about product placement again, linking back to something I'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
I was watching a program that had lots of product placement in.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of that, you know, the bit in, I think it's Wayne's World or Wayne's World 2,
Yeah.
where they just corporate shill the fuck out of everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh look, here's a Pepsi.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like the show I was watching was like that.
Oh, man.
It's a great show, but oh my god, it takes you out of the experience a little bit.
What a wonderful way to deal with it. From Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Ironic
exactly.
humour, and also just doing it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Generating revenue in
Yeah.
an ironic way.
Brilliant. Right, more news of the week.
Oh, so obviously, just to date this, on Friday I went up to London for work because occasionally I need to go up to London for work, and on the way back, I was sat desperately trying to do anything apart from stare out the window. Looked on the internet and saw that Leonard Nimoy had died, and yeah, I got. You know what? I'm not a massive Trekkie, and we've already talked about Star Trek once on this program, and we're going to talk about it again.
It's going to come up all the time.
It's going to come back all the time. But yeah, and I was like, oh, this is genuinely sad because, you know, I'm at the point in my life where all the people that I didn't kind of know who they were growing up, and no names are springing to mind, but people who my parents thought were legendary, they're all kind of died, and this massively famous person has died, that massively famous person has died. I'm now at the point where people that I genuinely were attached to are starting to die, and I think Leonard Nimoy he's one of these, you know, I don't know, iconic actors playing iconic character. And I think the world's sadder without him. Like, did you see his? It was going around on Twitter, his last tweets, and it was like this lovely talking about a garden or something. I'm butchering his last moments like an awful person, but you know, you look at this guy, and he was a genuinely good person. You know, I don't know him. He's probably an awful person.
I wanted to say that, and I always feel a bit funny talking about famous people when you don't know them and saying they seem like a nice person it's a weird thing to say, but I got it from him, I think, and also he was very famous for a very particular thing, and that never seemed to bother him. I think both him and Shatner are really good at embracing what made them very famous, and of course they continue to do other things and other projects, but they never get sick of what it was that kind of made them. I may be slightly talking out my bum there. I don't really.
Well, I saw a thing going around saying that Leonard Nimoy wasn't always kind of as enamoured and playing up to the fact that he was Spock.
Okay.
Like they, you know, and I'm not surprised if you spend, you know, over half of your life being associated with an alien character with a dodgy fringe and pointy ears.
Yeah.
It might get a little bit tiresome.
Yeah. But you know, like it always really upsets me that Alec Guinness hated Star Wars and hated Obi-Wan Kenobi. And,
oh
you
yeah,
know,
totally.
like I always think that's really like, well, sad.
Yeah.
I nearly swore at Alec Guinness then.
You almost swore at Alec
I
Guinness.
nearly swore at Alec Guinness and I thought, no, that's not what this is about.
But he's an example of someone who, when I remember when he died, and I didn't really know who he was, and he died, and my parents were like, oh no, Alec Guinness is dead, and like the next month there was like a Alec Guinness season on TV, and they were playing Kind Hearts and Coronets and The Lady Killers, and other films that Alec Guinness was in, like all the Ealing comedy ones. Lavender Hill Mob, I think he was in as well. That might be wrong. I don't know. But you know, he was someone who, after the fact, I realised just how great he was.
Yeah.
And like if you haven't seen Kind Hearts and Coronets, like that is an essential film for anyone, because he essentially plays 7 different parts, all really, really, really well. It's hilarious.
I'm gonna hold my hands up. Like I
You haven't
know
seen it?
very little about his other work.
Well, you're an idiot.
I know.
Go see it.
Okay.
I've got a copy of it. Borrow my copy. Watch it.
All right, and homework.
Join us.
Homework for the week is to watch
Yeah.
more Alec Guinness. To sort of tie it back in, Leonard Nimoy's voice is wonderful. I could listen to him talk. He's got that the same as the guy on the first Godspeed album. The car is on fire.
Yeah.
That guy could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
Leonard Nimoy. But it's very sad.
Yeah, one of the things I hold dear is the episode from The Simpsons with the monorail, just because that's kind of vintage Simpsons era, you know, like the first 8 series or something. After season 1, which is a bit, so season 2 to 8, or 8 and 9, just like untouchably brilliant. And the episode where, you know, this shyster turns up to sell the town a monorail because they got loads of money back from the government or something, and it all goes tits up essentially. But Leonard Nimoy turns up to open the monorail, like cut the ribbon, etc.
Yeah.
And at the end of that episode, he's just kind of sat on the monorail looking out the window and just kind of wandering around. At the end of the episode, he's like, "Oh, my work here is done." And I think Mo or someone says to him, "You didn't do anything." He's like, "Didn't I?" And then he phases out in the transporter. I'm like, you know, I love it.
That's lovely. Let's move on past sad death to
problems.
a segment. From death to problems. This is a segment called Problem of the Week.
Problems. Let's talk about your problems now. Yes, I understand.
I don't know what I just heard, but I think
Can we hear it again?
That was good.
Problems. Let's talk about your problems now. Yes, I understand.
That was a good at the end there. I like that.
I do understand.
Problems of the Week.
So, what's your problem? Tell me what's your problem.
I had a horrible experience, and I think this is a problem about being oversensitive. I realised again as I get older, this is just a podcast about getting older. Isn't it? It's a podcast about being 30 and how horrible it is.
So tired all the time.
Tired. I'm tired and I'm oversensitive now. That was never an issue in my early 20s, but now I'm really oversensitive. I was walking through town and I was coming out of a shop and I saw someone coming towards me who I half know. When I say I half know them, I know who they are. We have a professional relationship, but you know, I wouldn't consider them a friend in, you know, not an enemy.
They're your pimp.
So they were my pimp, and no, so you know, I have to talk to them formally occasionally.
Yeah.
I did a horrible thing of going to say hello. Like I was wearing headphones. I raised my hand to say hello, and he didn't see, and then I dropped my hand, and then he saw me after I dropped my hand. So I started to take my headphone off to say hello. Really fumbled saying hello. He visibly stopped to talk to me, and I just put my headphone back on and walked off without explaining. Didn't turn around, didn't look back, didn't explain. I just walked away from him, and he clearly stopped to talk.
Oh God.
That
God.
that happened weeks ago, and has
Still haunts
I
you.
still think about it like, oh no. That's my problem of the week.
So is that a problem with how you acted, or the fact you can't get over it?
It was a particularly bad. I mean, it's indicative of a general issue of not really wanting to talk to anyone.
Hey, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. It's there. You know those. I have exactly the same thing where you kind of know people and you don't. Like a couple of months ago, I went on holiday for a while, and there were people who I was in the same place with for a while, and they made friends and all that sort of thing. But there were also people who you were just in the same place because you were on the bus together for several days, and you get off the bus and you go to the toilet and buy, I don't know, a coffee or something like that, and you kind of smile at each other and be like, haha, we're in this same place and we haven't started talking yet.
Yeah.
We've been together for a long time and we haven't had a conversation.
Yeah.
We know each other's names. We don't know anything about each other. And it's too late. It's too late to start that bonding process. We're invested in not being friends now. And unless some sort of meteoric erotic meteors.
Meaty and erotic.
Meteoric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Incident pushes you together further than you already are because you're already in the same vicinity with lots of things in common because you're in the same vicinity. If you're not going to get over that hump and talk to each other, then you never will.
No.
And you just continually have this kind of, hi,
Hey, man.
hi, yeah, hi.
I wish all the people in this world where all I can manage with them is, hey man, how's it going? That's all I've got for them. I wish
I've got nothing left for
I've
you.
got nothing else. I wish it was all right to say, I don't hate you, I don't dislike you. I've got nothing else, and that's not a comment on me or you. You just can't be mates with everyone.
No, but that's it. You can't be friends with everyone. And is it just that we're, English and we're not straight up about the fact that, sorry, I've got nothing to say to you. It's not a personal thing. I don't think you're a horrible person. I haven't judged you. I just don't have any energy to waste talking and getting to know a new person. Yeah. It's cold, but it's the truth. And isn't that what we're here for?
The cold truth. Yeah.
Let's just be straight up and get cold with that truth. That cold, hard truth in your face.
So, producer Kayla and I were talking about etiquette in bars, and she was saying that when you're in Barcelona, you go into a bar, Barcelona, and you pay right at the end, and there's no pressure, and you just get given food and drink. You don't have to order it. You just sit down. Like no one queues. Because we were in a bar recently, and they got very litigious about us paying. Their card machine was broken, and they continuously interrupted our drinks to be like, "Are you going to go to the cash machine now?"
Whoa.
Yeah, right.
I hope you wrote them up a bad one on Yelp or TripAdvisor.
I don't want to mention their name because I do quite like them.
Don't mention the place.
I'm not going to, but they also have quite a strict policy about how much tap water you're allowed.
What?
I know.
Tap water?
I know.
It's literally water from a tap.
I know.
What the fuck?
I had a brilliant conversation with the woman there where I asked for a pint of tap water and she was like, I only do it in halves. And I was like,
do they have pint glasses?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Can I have 2 half pints?
No, I asked for that.
And put it in a pint glass?
I asked for 2 halves. She's no, that's not allowed.
Not allowed?
Not allowed. She said, this was her policy, that she is having to do work. It's costing her money. So, like the manpower it takes to pour a pint over a half a pint is costing the pub money. I was buying a beer at the same time. I would maybe even begin to entertain that if I wasn't buying alcohol. But I bought a beer and asked for a pint of water, and she would not. She would give me 2 half pints.
That is actually insane. Sorry, the literally the microseconds it takes for this glass to fill up from a half pint amount to a full pint amount is not cost effective enough for me to give it to you.
To justify
Therefore, I don't want your service. Fuck off.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It is incredible. So I wonder if it is a British culture thing. I wonder if in other cultures they do just say, "Hey, man, like you're fine. I don't dislike you, but I haven't got anything to say to you." You know, like I don't know. And here's the. This is why it's my problem of the week, because I think at the end it just reflects very badly on me. Like
You're just socially inadequate.
Socially really awkward. Like,
No, I do know what you mean. The kind of the incidental moments when you meet someone in the street and then you realise that you're walking the same way, so you have to keep on talking. And then you realise you've kept on walking past where you wanted to stop because you've started a conversation. You feel rude about ending that conversation, and then you end up going across the city, just wandering aimlessly, talking to this person who you don't want to be talking to, and then it all goes a bit wrong.
I had it quite recently where I was so terrified. Someone who I get on with, actually, who, but I just don't know that very well. They were in front of me walking and I was so terrified that we were going to walk the same way the whole time that I made myself quite late for work by slowing right down and going into a shop, and just to avoid they didn't even go the same way as me in the end. But I can't handle it.
Okay. Here's the worst one.
Okay.
I'm sure I've told you this before, but I have been walking through the town where I'm from, and I saw my dad in the distance, and I just blanked him. I blanked my own father in the street, and I love my dad. My parents are great, although slightly crazy, but they're great. And I couldn't face talking to him, so I just passed him and let him pass me by, and he didn't see me. He said, "Hey, Rob, how's it going?" He, as far as I know,
Hey, Rob, how's it going? Hey, Dad, how's it going?
he might have blanked me as much as I blanked him. Can you imagine that? Imagine blanking your own son. Imagine that. What a horrible thing to do. I'm so put upon as a son because my father would blank me in the street, theoretically.
I can't add to that. You blanked your own dad.
Yeah.
Right.
He was wearing a blue and purple lumberjack coat.
Is that why?
Well, that was
Is that why
probably,
you blanked him?
I'd say that's about 63.7% reason why. And the rest is, it's just effort really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like I say, if my father ever hears this, God knows why he would. Sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. That was about 15 years ago. So. But it's still...
Oh, so you were a teenager?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that might...
Yeah, I'd do it again, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd do it again in an instant.
Right. Let's move on, shall we?
Okay, let's move on.
I can't better blanking your own dad. Darkness of the week.
Darkness of the week.
Darkness of the week.
That's pretty
Yeah.
terrifying jingle.
That was a fun one to make. You've got a good darkness of the week, haven't you?
Well,
I haven't heard this, so I don't.
I've got so much. I've got so many dark stories. Essentially, every week I'm basically going to slowly but surely unravel and humiliate myself in the genre of body horror stories that Rob has experienced. most of it revolves around bodily fluids or bodily excretions. So I'm really sorry if you need to fast forward this. I'll probably talk about this for an hour. No, I'm not going to talk about this for too long. But why are we doing this podcast? And I listen to a lot of podcasts. John listens to a lot of podcasts. One of my all-time favourite podcasts, and I really wish it was still around, was obviously you can still get it. The Adam and Joe show. Everyone loved that. They had the fun little jingles that we're clearly
indebted to.
Tributing. Yeah. And they also, they had lots of, they had a segment called Text the Nation, text the Nation, etc., where people would text in on certain subjects. And one of the subjects was disgusting habits. And I was walking through, I live in Bristol, I was walking through the galleries, which is like the shopping centre in Bristol Town Centre, listening to this, laughing out loud, having that moment where, you realise that you're gurning like an idiot and everyone's looking at you and they couldn't see you had earphones on, and you were just laughing like an idiot and everyone was staring and it was humiliating. But they got into a little a part of this thing where one person texted in talking about how they they or their dad or someone used to eat Wotsits by chewing them up and then regurgitating them into a little orangey ball of disgustingness. So, I mean, that's rancidly, horribly foul.
Disgusting.
And I remember walking through Bristol Town Centre listening to this and actually feeling like I was about to throw up from it. That was how repulsive it was. And I hadn't felt that sick from, essentially not that disgusting things. There are worse things in the world than this little, like, slightly regurgitated Wotsit. But then, again, in the shower, where I do all my best thinking. Recently, I've been worrying about my hearing. And so I was kind of cleaning my ears out. And, yeah, it was horrible.
And herein lies the darkness.
Herein lies the darkness. Because have you seen that episode of Father Ted where they syringe Jack's ears?
Yeah.
And they've got those candles made of a thick black darkness. That was essentially being removed from my ears. It was horrendous.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I felt so ill. I hadn't felt that ill from little orangey black stuff since I was listening to that Adam and Joe. That's quite a tangential thing, isn't it?
No.
Is it not? Does that make any sense?
There are two things that I want to talk about there. Right. One, how incredible the power of words to make you feel physically nauseous.
Exactly.
That's I've had that with a couple of things. One of our friends used to talk about the vomilet. That he had a friend who all you had to do was say the word vomilet and he would probably puke. It's where you eat the ingredients of an omelette and you vomit and cook it and eat it again.
Is that from like Jackass?
That's a Jackass thing, yeah. Secondly, the What's It story reminds me, and I think this belongs in Darkness of the Week, of having a bag of Skips when I was a teenager and eating them and enjoying them, and I haven't really eaten Skips since this. And at the bottom, finding a ball of pure skip dust. So the dust that they put on the skips to give it their flavour had congealed into a ball of pure flavouring. And I thought, oh, a weird malformed skip. And I bit into it and it was cold. And it's the coldness that
Cold of pork extraction.
Yes,
Cold pork
exactly,
extraction.
exactly like that. And so intense, so incredibly intense.
Oh man,
and it was
prawn.
And it was for some reason it was the coldness that has really, really stuck with me, and I haven't been able to eat skips since then.
You're missing out. Skips are wonderful.
I've got an ear related
Sponsor a skip.
Skips, lovely skips. I've got an ear related. I don't want to waste it though. Maybe we should save it for another time.
Well, just to reiterate. Clean your ears on a regular basis, because otherwise, large black clods, and I do mean clod. Not like a smear, a clod.
It's actually black.
Black.
How much? Could you give an idea of volume?
Maybe the size of a Tic Tac.
Wow. How did you get it out?
Fingernail.
Oh,
yeah.
So was it not quite far in?
Yeah, I reached in.
You got your fingernail into your
I've
ear.
got slim fingers and long nails. You can kind of scoop it out with a spoon of nail. It was grim.
So attractive.
I'm single.
Rob's single, by the way. Date him with his slim fingers. Need your ears cleaning? Slim-fingered Rob.
Dear God.
Should we do a review of the week?
Well, yeah, unless you've got a dark tale you want to tell.
Well, okay, I'm going to say it because it's ear-related.
Go nuts.
I was doing GCSE history once, and I had a spot inside my ear.
Oh.
A big spot inside my ear.
Yeah.
And you teenagers, the spots you get are crazy insane, aren't they? It was doing GCSE history, getting very close to our exams. My GCSE history teacher, actually, Mrs. Brazier, I'm going to say her name, that's all right, Mrs. Brazier.
Hi, Mrs. Brazier.
Hi, Mrs. Brazier. Was wonderful, and actually I remember a lot about World War II and that period of history because of her. She was a good teacher. She taught well. I have no interest in history, but I know a lot about World War II. She was handing out toffees because we were revising hard. And I ate my toffee and then looked down at my finger and saw that there was like a grey-brown
Oh no.
liquid all over it and thought, toffee runoff.
Oh my god! No, really?
So sucked
God.
the toffee runoff clean off my finger and thought, that tasted rank. That was disgusting. And I'd at some point put my finger in my ear, the spot had gone. And I hadn't noticed.
That is next level darkness. My God.
Right, with that, let's conclude darkness.
Who knows how horrendous darkness of the week will get?
If
that's week one.
That's week one. Review of the week. We didn't do a jingle for review of the week.
You didn't do a jingle for review of the week.
Do you do a jingle of a reviewer?
Reviews.
Okay.
Here's some reviews.
That's the jingle. Great. Review of the week. What did you want to review?
Well, a bit of foreshadowing before about the product placement thing. So on Friday, the third season of House of Cards, the wonderful political Netflix thriller drama thingy, starring Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright, who I always need to say Robin Wright Penn because she used to be married to Sean Penn.
Who is she? What else? Has she been in?
She's the bride in Princess Bride.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a very taut, tense political thriller thingy. Remake of an English one from the early 90s, late 80s that I've never seen, but I remember it being on. It was obviously. I assume it's very altered for the American audience because it's set in America and all that. It came out on Friday, and what they do with this is it's Netflix exclusive. Netflix sponsor us. So they've put 13 episodes out all in one go. And yesterday, I met a friend for lunch, etc. But apart from that, I didn't do anything else apart from watch this season. Each episode is roughly an hour long. And I was up until 4 a.m. last night watching
proper
this.
marathon.
Yeah, and I watched the last episode this morning in bed. But yeah, I mean it's brilliant, and I'm not going to spoil it because if you haven't seen the first 2 seasons, you should probably see that. Essentially it's so well kind of put together, and it's an interesting. It's interesting because it reflects kind of some slight issues of the moment. There's a concept in it that someone puts forward, essentially removing all benefits, all entitlements, and ploughing all of that into creating new jobs, like creating new gardening jobs and cleaning jobs, and essentially ploughing money into the economy so that people can go back to work. And this thing troubled me a little bit because, I mean, if you can't just remove benefits, it would be a terrifying world where all the elderly people would essentially get screwed because they have nothing to live for. And it's the idea that the New Deal that FDR brought in, which essentially it gave people social security benefits in America in the first place. Just chopping all that out and giving all the money to businesses so that the young people can go to work. And what worries me about that is because it slightly foreshadows, I think, what could in theory happen, or what feels like is happening at the moment with the government privatising all kind of public sector staff, slowly removing all benefits, and it's just removing the safety net from everything, and it just worries me a little bit. So that was kind of fascinating to watch. Also fascinating to watch is just how much product placement there is in that show. It's obscene. In the first series, I think it was the first series, it was the same year that the PlayStation Vita came out. And there's a moment where Kevin Spacey, who...
Sorry to interrupt, I'm just going to sip my Diet Coke.
Oh my God, Diet Coke sponsor us.
Can we hear that a bit?
Well, it's refreshing, and I don't feel fat because it's diet.
That sounds like an empty can, like a well-satisfied can that has been drunk of Diet Coke.
I feel cleverer.
Coca-Cola Company. Yeah, so the product placement in House of Cards, in the first series, he walks into a room. Kevin Spacey walks into a room, or someone else walks into a room, and someone is playing a PlayStation Vita. And I've got a Vita. I really like the Vita, but there's a moment where it was so obvious. It's like, oh, is that a PlayStation Vita? Oh yeah, I take it everywhere with me. I play all the latest games on it, console-like quality. Oh wow, that's amazing. I should get that for the campaign trail. And you're just banging your head against the wall, like, what the fuck is this bullshit? What the fuck? And I do understand that it's a very high budget thing. It's some of the episodes are directed by David Lynch. It's all produced by him.
David Lynch?
Yeah.
Do you mean David Fincher?
No.
David Lynch?
No, wait, maybe Fincher.
I would...
Fincher.
It's got to be Fincher, right? David
Yeah.
Lynch.
David Lynch would be a very different show. Fincher. It's definitely
Awesome
Fincher.
show. Yeah, okay.
It's very high production. It's very good. And to do 13 episodes in one go must have cost Netflix a shitload of money to do.
Yeah.
So I understand they need to get money back in product placement and stuff. But it's so blatant. It's like the Bond films where he always gets out his brand new Sony smartphone and basically shows it to the camera, go, ooh, look at this.
Yeah.
It's the new Sony smartphone. Sony sponsor us.
God, I love Sony.
Yeah, Sony. Love it. It takes you out of the moment, the product placement. There was a moment in the third series where he's sat playing. I don't know if you played the iPad game Monument Valley.
No.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like Monument Valley, we love you. It's like it's like a small indie game where you're essentially doing the artist Escher, MC Escher, like those kind of optical illusion drawings.
I see, yeah.
You're essentially going up a tower with those type of puzzles.
I think I have seen it.
It's beautiful, and it's just kind of very kind of lonely, and I don't know. It's a beautiful game. I recommend playing it. But he's just lying there on a couch, and you watch him play this game for quite a long time, more than it needs to be. And it turns out to be that he's getting inspiration from it to do something tactical in the Senate or whatever. But either way, it doesn't feel like anything less than product placement of, oh, here's a great new thing. Let's get that in the shot. Oh, look at it. It's so exciting.
So, would you... Presumably, what you said is true about they do rely on it in terms of revenue for Netflix to make 13 episodes, and except with Kevin Spacey and David Fincher, David Lyncher. Watch that, David Lyncher. Would you rather that quality of programming is available, or that there was less product placement?
Well, the thing
or
is,
do you think there's a way of doing it? Because, like, I can think of quite a few amazing shows where the product placement, like The Wire, I don't remember a lot of product. TNG, no product placement.
Well, there's
the products don't exist.
No. Well, no, it's like, ooh, get that Sony replicator. I'm going into my Microsoft holodeck.
That'd be brilliant.
It would be shit. But I don't know.
Eye phaser.
I don't know. It's like freemium games that are supported by adverts. I do understand that there are business models that need to have ad supported in order to make sure you don't buy things, but it's also quite aggravating. It's and don't get me wrong, because this is a review section. I would say I would happily recommend watching House of Cards.
So we should talk about that.
It's definitely
good, right. I've never watched a single episode.
It is definitely worth watching. Just the production values are very high. Acting is great. The casting's brilliant. Musically it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm not massively into American politics. Like I haven't seen The West Wing because the few episodes I have seen, it aggravated me a little bit.
It's the coziest TV show you'll ever watch.
Really?
Every show is like Christmas.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to watch a show that everything's like Christmas.
Really?
I'll just watch Home Alone and then Muppets Christmas Carol, and that's enough Christmas for me.
Okay.
Muppets Christmas Carol. Sponsor us, the Muppets. But it's one of those shows that transcends the domain and the subject material it was talking about. And if you just want to see Kevin Spacey be as he's just a brilliant arsehole. He is brilliant as an arsehole. Like every film you've ever seen where he's an arsehole in, you know, he's incredible. So
You ever watch Swimming with Sharks?
yes,
Yeah.
oh my god, he is the
Is it a
biggest
similar
arsehole in
thing.
that.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good film.
It is a good film.
So, where it aggravates me, the product placement is not so much in TV shows. I can maybe understand Netflix needing to do it. It's in movies that have. Oh,
Sorry about that.
sneeze from producer Kayla. Kleenex, sponsor us Kleenex. How does?
Oh, that sounds like a soft, gentle Kleenex on your nose.
Is your cold better? Would you say your cold is better?
It's not free.
She's snot free. Kleenex.
Wish I was earwax free.
A movie that's presumably already, well, I guess part of the budgeting is that they will stick product placement in. But you know, like Michael, I'm just going to pick on him. Michael Bay Transformers franchise.
Oh my god, yes.
Awful on several levels. Misogynistic, disgusting, boring,
Racist.
terrible movies. Do they really need it? Do they really need that kind of whatever in shot, that certain tech? Because presumably the studios and Michael Bay aren't really struggling.
I don't know. I don't know the financials of it. You know, you can
it's
spend.
hard to say, isn't it?
That's something like a Transformers movie. You could easily spend $100-200 million on it.
Yeah.
So I guess any revenue's positive, but it's just how crass they're willing to go with it. You know,
Yeah. Disgusting.
disgusting.
But you would recommend?
I would definitely recommend watching House of Cards.
Okay.
Yeah, the ending of the third season makes me think that there will be a fourth season.
Great.
So get into it. Either wait until that's announced,
Yeah.
and wait for a year, and then watch all 3 seasons caning it,
Okay.
or just cane it all now and sit waiting around for a year.
I'm currently getting towards the end of Dexter.
Oh,
I'm in
no.
the bad. I'm in the bad place.
No.
So I don't. And it doesn't seem that bad, right? It
What
doesn't seem
season are
that
you
bad.
in?
We're in season 7.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
of 8, and everyone's always said it's the last 2 seasons.
The
that
last season
really-
is the worst.
The last one is particularly bad.
Yes.
I mean, this one isn't. I've got far more angry, I think, about the season before 6 or even 5. I can't remember. It got really.
5 was the one with Lumen in, wasn't it?
That's the one I got
Yeah.
quite angry about. Lumen and Ghost Dad really was pissing me off by season 5. Do you remember Ghost Dad?
What, the Bill Cosby film?
No. No. In
Oh yes, Harry. Yeah.
yeah, like his conscious is basically his dad, and then there's an episode where he flips out, and it's his brother that is.
Yes.
But Ghost Dad's a prick, basically. Ghost Dad's really annoying. He's like that guy that says bad things.
We're still talking about the Bill Cosby film, aren't we?
You're still talking about Bill Cosby. We should talk a lot about Bill Cosby one week.
Yeah. Maybe when things are less litigious and more substantiated.
Indefinite. In terms of Netflix, I think I'm coming up to needing something new. So I will check it out.
House of Cards is good.
Have we got time for another review of the week, or should
Let's
we
just
move on?
keep. Well, I don't know. Let's keep going.
I want to talk very, very. When we were planning this podcast, one of the things we talked about was not dating it. So having sort of universal sort of topics, or so for review of the week, I planned something quite. It's an album called Spirit of Eden by Talk, which was released in. When was it released? Producer Kayla, how's your nose feel?
Yeah, it's still clear.
Still clear. Wow, that's the power of Kleenex. Clean it.
Talk.
Released in 1988.
Released in 1988, so that's how not dated my review of the week is. Someone once played me the first track in their car, and I remember thinking like, oh, there's that really lovely one moment. There's a really lovely one moment there, and it's cool. And then I think it went into the second track, and I was like, oh, I'm not bothered about this. His voice is weird.
Is that the track The Rainbow?
That is the track, The Rainbow.
Ah.
It's and then I can't remember why, but I bought it, and I feel angry at myself for having not known about this album since I want it to be one of the albums that my parents played to me as a kid. I want it to be that important to me. I'm angry that I've only been into it for the past 2 or 3 years.
But that's interesting because all of the music that my parents played to me as a kid, I don't have huge affection for.
Do you not?
It's the stuff that they didn't play me, but they had, that I got into,
Okay,
and then went
yeah.
back and was like, what? You've got fucking After the Gold Rush on vinyl?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That is. But then, like, I remember my parents playing Sergeant Pepper's in the car a lot, and Elton John. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't give a shit about Elton John if it wasn't for listening. It reminds me of being half asleep on a long holiday drive with all the bags around me, and you know, like. So I have a lot of respect. So I really wish Spirit of Eden had been one of those albums for me. The other reason that I like it is because someone, you know, when you think something and then someone else validates it for you independently, what a great feeling, especially if that person's better than you.
Better than you.
Yeah, so I've been listening to Spirit of Eden for a couple of years now, and I've always thought this is like a real genesis of post-rock, and it's the way the tracks are composed, the way it sort of moves, it flows as like one piece, everything's very long. It's very influenced by jazz as well, but it's beautiful, it's stunningly beautiful, very ambient. I was listening to a radio show the other day by one of the guys from Do Make Say Think, who are also an incredible post-rock band, and he was doing a show about post-rock, and sponsor us post-rock.
It's what happens after rock. Post-rock.
Sponsors. And he said, I'm going to play a track from Spirit of Eden by Talk Talk because I believe it's responsible for post-rock. And I went, yes, I thought that thought too.
So
and I really like... He's better than me because he's in Do Make So Think, and they're a great band. And it was just really nice to know that a stupid thought that I thought I'd, you know, probably wasn't right, had been thought by someone else.
Yes. Yeah, it's nice to have an original thought and then someone else say, this is a thing. And I'm like, wow.
And if you
we have a
respect that
connection.
person, great.
Question on Do Make Say Think.
Yes.
Are they part of Broken Social Scene or some way related to them?
One of them.
He's bass player or something.
Bass player is in Broken Social Scene.
And he had handlebar moustaches.
Yes.
Because we saw Broken Social Scene in 2008 at All Tomorrow's Parties.
We also saw Do Make Say Think.
In 2007.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
In I can't say the name of the place, but in a place that's not really a place anymore, on a street.
Yes,
Do you
that
remember?
place doesn't exist
it doesn't
anymore,
exist
does it?
anymore. And how weird. I think
Because we saw another really loud post-rock band.
From Monument to Masses.
From Monument to Masses.
Yeah.
And there were like 4 people in there.
Yeah, I felt really sorry
Yeah,
for
it was
they're an
awkward.
American band and they'd come to England, and I saw one of them having a cigarette outside, and he just had that look of like touring empty shows.
Is this why you refuse to do significant gigs yourself?
Yeah, that's definitely the reason.
I have no comment to make on John's touring musical career. That was
Me
just me
neither.
being facetious.
But it blows my mind now that I'd kill to see Do Make Say Think in Bristol. I don't know when they will come back, if they will ever come back. So the thought that we saw them and that we saw them there really is something else.
Yeah.
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 That's my review of the week. Go and listen to Spirit of Eden by Talk Talk. It's a stunningly beautiful album, and I love it.
That sounds like good.
Should we move
Stop
on?
talking about music CDs
Yeah.
at some point?
Here's my favourite section of the week. The verses of the week. Here's the jingle.
Verses of the week. We're going to discuss who might win now. Verses of the week.
Yeah,
That was glorious.
That's a good one.
Let us discuss them now.
Thanks, Adam and Joe, for all that inspiration.
Good.
Verse of the week comes from one of our mutual friends at university who had a deep interest in ridiculous crossover comics.
Yes. He did?
Yeah, he really wanted some crossovers to exist that were stupid. I can't remember if I want to give an example, but I can't remember if this is one of his or just something you made up.
Which one?
I don't want to say it in case we want to do it one week.
Well, we can do it and then leave it hanging and then say we might go there again.
All right, Sadako versus Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so...
Was that one of his?
I don't know. It was one time the 3 of us were in a room talking bollocks after the pub, as you normally do.
Yeah.
Just to confirm, I've said this to people over the years, and a lot of people don't know who Sadako is.
What?
Yeah, it's because a lot of people have seen the American version of the thing that she's from.
Oh, the American version of The Ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sadako is the terrifying small child in the Japanese version of Ringu.
Oh, she's called Samara.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
American one,
Yeah.
of course.
Exactly.
Do you know that Ring is like like 5 novels, and it goes really sci-fi.
Really?
Yeah, and there are several weird versions of the books on film that were like straight to TV,
Yeah.
and it ends up with like Sadako clones running about everywhere. Like the virus gets transmitted through cloning.
Virus?
Yeah, it's a virus. It goes like Resident Evil. It becomes a Resident Evil plotline.
Okay.
Over these 5 books.
Should we just talk about this one now and save the one we're going to talk about for later?
Okay, yeah. Should we do Sadako versus Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been thinking about this a little bit, and you would instantly go to Sadako, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because Indiana Jones, although very resilient and oh so handsome and dashing, he's got a whip, he's got a hat, and sometimes he's got a gun. But not
Yes.
every time. When he looks for it and it's not there, he's a bit shocked. But okay, continue what we're saying, because I've got a solution to Sadako versus Indiana Jones.
Well, my thought is, I think I know what you're going to say. My thought is that that he's already overcome several supernatural things.
That's true.
Yeah, like
Supernatural Nazis.
Supernatural, the Ark of the
Kali.
Covenant, Kali. He resisted Kali,
I know.
the heart pull. He
Yeah, but when he drank the blood of Kali, he did turn until Short Round burnt him with that flame.
puts fire in his face.
Yeah, burned the Kali out of him.
It's that easy. Just get fire in your face. So, while you would sort of go to Sadako because she is a supernatural undead virus mixed with highly potent telekinetic powers. That's what she is, by the way.
Good. Thanks for the definition of Sadako.
Also, in the books, she's a hermaphrodite,
Oh,
which they ignore in the films, but
Really?
she's got no sort of specific gender.
there's a pattern there because in the book for Let the Right One In.
Oh yeah, she's
So
got no.
the female vampire in Let the Right One In is actually a boy with some surgical changes, shall we say?
So
Because they flash that up in the film.
there's a brief shot, isn't
brief
there,
shot
of like
of
it looks like a
something.
Ken doll, no genitals, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Alan Rickman in Dogma.
Yeah. I love Dogma.
I don't.
We'll do a versus.
talk about that at some point,
1
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Wow. And she's murdered because I think her uncle or something is fascinated by her hermaphroditic nature and sexually abuses her. And
Oh,
then
really?
throws her down the well, but she doesn't die. She lives for like 33 years in the well, which is why in the movies she's actually a grown
Older.
like a woman rather than a. So read about the novels. There's a load of interesting lore there. So yeah, Indiana Jones versus Sadako in a straight up fist fight. He's going to lose. However, he's overcome the Ark of the Covenant. He's overcome Kali, and he finds the in the third one
The Holy Grail.
the Holy Grail,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
does he drink from the Holy Grail?
Yes, he does.
So in theory,
Yes, he does, because they do that whole thing where Richard the Lionheart maybe is, or a knight.
Yeah,
it's
night,
just
a
a
night
knight.
of the round. Yeah.
Is just hanging around in there being old, and they have to test it out, and then one of the bad guys, the antagonists, I'm gonna
Yes.
say, drinks from a nice looking one that's glorious, and he goes all old and wrinkly and dies very
That's
fast.
right.
And Indy grabs a humble wooden cup, of which I've got one upstairs.
Might be the Holy Grail.
Maybe.
So in theory, Indiana Jones is invulnerable.
Yeah. But I've got a
what's your,
basic
ace in the hole?
logistical thing of how Indiana Jones beat Sadako is because Sadako, her stuff is transmitted through a video player and she comes through the TV. Now, Indiana Jones, he's not alive when TVs are around because in
He's
God
alive.
help...
The TV
No,
was around in the 40s.
they didn't have VCRs, did they?
No.
Even in Crystal Skull, which God help us all must we remember, burn it from my eyes.
I've never seen it.
What?
I haven't seen it. I'm so pleased.
Really?
I'm so pleased.
How the fuck did you get away with that?
I didn't go and see it at the cinema for some reason, and I was sad at the time, obviously. But I think that very quickly people clocked onto how shite
my
it
God.
is, and I've preserved the Indiana Jones
Yeah.
trilogy for myself. I'm so happy.
See, I'm furious because I want to buy a nice little Indiana Jones 1, 2, 3
Box set,
Blu-ray box set. You can't get it because you have to have Crystal Skull, which means I would have to own a copy of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh god. I can't even vocalize. The bit with the fridge and the gophers and the monkeys flying through and the random bit where they go to a random tomb and ninjas appear for no reason and disappear again. There's no explanation. And Ray Winston and oh god, and it's got Mutt in it.
Oh,
What's his face?
Shia.
Shia LaBeouf.
I would like to discuss Shia LaBeouf one week. I think he's misunderstood.
Okay, let's talk about that another time.
Okay.
But Indiana Jones, even in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, when he's in his, the character, Harrison Ford was in his mid to late 60s making that film.
Yeah.
And that was in the 50s, set in the 50s. So
It's Cold War, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the character Indiana Jones is dead long before VCRs or even this incident with Sadako even happening. So they could never actually interact. Therefore, Indiana Jones wins by default that he exists.
So
He wins.
Due to lack of VCRs, Indiana Jones wins. I could come back with Sadako is able to transmit via reel-to-reel tape in the prequel, I think, in Ring Zero.
Really? I've never
Yeah.
seen Ring Zero.
It's good, actually. It's actually a good prequel sequel. But I'm going to accept that because it's frankly a stupid thing to talk about. And this was our argument at university a lot, that a lot of the crossovers can't work. Predator versus Archie. That's a thing. That's
a real thing, isn't
That's
it?
a real comic. Look up Predator versus Archie.
Predator versus Archie. Who wins?
Fucking Predator.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah.
Says Archie.
Let's crack on. AOB. We haven't done a jingle for AOB either because we weren't sure if we were going to...
A-O-B. A-O-B. Any other business?
Brilliant. There's the jingle for AOB. You showed me this. Nick Griffin's got a cooking show.
He does. Well, he did have a cooking show. It was a
Right.
couple of years ago on BMP TV. Imagine that. Imagine
Is
that.
it any good? Did you watch it?
What? BMP TV in general?
No,
or-
the Nick Griffin cooking show.
Well, he makes a pretty basic stew.
Does he use any ingredients not found naturally in England?
It's a good point. He makes a big show about, get some turnips, bit of swede,
Okay.
bit of potato. Potatoes, send them back where they came from.
Yeah.
Potatoes are native to England.
No, you can grow potatoes here,
Yeah.
so that you can get home.
And you can grow non-English people here.
Well, I think it's a fascinating metaphor. His cooking show.
What, that he's willing to accept things that aren't native,
He'll eat a potato.
but he won't shake hands with a black man.
No,
Well, he
he probably would.
he probably would.
Yeah.
He probably would. Well, I don't know.
Is he a
about
good chef?
that. No. In a word. Because all he's doing is he's making a stew. And the stew he makes is the type of stew I make. Now, I love cooking. I make a mean lasagna or a chili or a spaghetti bolognese or,
A stew.
something
you do
else.
A stew.
A good
Yeah.
stew. My stew would clearly be better than his stew.
Right.
And, I'm not saying that puts me morally better than Nick Griffin, even though I am, because I'm not a massive
in a
racist.
way, you are. That's a versus of the week. Your
What?
stew versus Nick Griffin's stew.
Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there?
We have to get Nick Griffin on the show.
I don't want to meet him, though. I don't want to talk to Nick Griffin. And which is wrong, because, I should be inclusive enough to be able to meet people who I don't agree with them politically. And try and engage them in a discourse where I can maybe sway them into not being an awful person. But
Going back to problem of the week, I don't really want to talk to people who I essentially quite like.
let alone Nick Griffin.
So I'm definitely not going to talk to Nick Griffin, no. Just to be intertextual then, would you recommend Nick Griffin's cooking show as a review of the week?
No.
No. Brilliant.
It's a thing. Watch it. Be saddened by it.
Yeah.
The sad thing about watching anything with Nick Griffin is he has more He's got more Twitter followers than me. He's a more influential man than I am, and that makes me sad.
And your stew's better. So
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what have we learned?
We've learned that we don't live in a meritocracy.
No, the world is horrible and unfair, but why not make it better by watching House of Cards and listening to Spirit of Eden?
Everyone we've mentioned on this podcast.
Talk and Netflix.
Talk.
I think that's probably it. We've gone on way too long.
Oh my gosh.
We'll edit it, don't worry. So it'll just be a bit. I reckon there's 20 minutes of gold in here.
Excellent.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much. We will see you very soon.
Not all.
Oh, what?
We need to say who we are and how to listen to us and all that shit.
My name is John of Alien Prison Food fame. You can find this on our SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com/alien prison food, or one word.
Follow us on Twitter at Alien Prison Food.
Yeah.
We have
hashtag
3
Alien
followers at the moment.
Brilliant.
That's us too, isn't it?
Yeah.
And me.
And us
Oh,
three.
that's 3. So it's the 3 people. That's fine. We've got a WordPress as well.
WordPress.
Let's. Oh God, this hasn't gone smooth, has it?
alienprisonfood.wordpress.com.
alienprisonfood.wordpress.com. If you want to email the show, you can. alienprisonfood@gmail.com. Wonderful. Bye, Rob.
See you later.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, producer, painter, Kayla.